180 horsepower, 125 Newton meters of torque, 1160cc of displacement, and this thing weighs just less than 200 kilograms. Well, this is not the same old speed triple that we are used to. This is not a comfy bruiser anymore. This has turned into a mad super naked now, and it's finally here in India. But with the kind of performance that's on offer, can you really ride this motorcycle on our streets? Well, that's what we are here to find out.
You're watching the autoX YouTube channel. You can also get your daily dose of all things automotive on our website, autox.com, and follow us on social media. Don't forget to check out our monthly magazine and make sure to hit the bell and subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
The first time you lay your eyes on the Speed Triple RS, you can't help but see the family resemblance. Sharp and slim bug-eyed LED headlamps, naked aggression, and signature Triumph attention to detail are all very similar to the Street Triple RS. I'd actually say that it just looks like a Street Triple RS on steroids, all puffed up and toned. Having said that, there's nothing remotely bulky about the Speed Triple 1200 RS when compared to its old self. In fact, the dimensions are relatively compact, and styling elements like bar and mirrors or T-shaped taillight are sporty and classy design touches. Some of the cool factor is lost though, as it no longer features twin underseat exhaust pipes like the old model. It gets a single exhaust can instead. The single-sided swing arm is retained though. The quality and fit and finish levels are quite impressive, but for the price you do feel it could have been better in places, especially the weld points.
Yes, on the surface, the Speed Triple RS does look like a bigger Street Triple RS. In fact, that's also shown in the way this bike is designed. That's because the tank is narrower now, the bars are wider and they're taller as well. But compared to the old Speed Triple, actually this one feels more comfortable. The ergonomics are spot on. It's neither too racy nor too comfortable, and it has a nice balance going on. Now coming to the weight, this motorcycle is quite light. It's 10 kilograms lighter than the old Speed Triple. So that also shows, because when you ride it in the city, you don't really feel the weight. You can flick it around quite easily. And the other thing is the seat height. Of course, it's 830 millimeters. Some short riders might find it difficult, but I'm 5'8" and I just about managed to flat foot. So in that regard also, it's quite accessible.
Speed has always been the name of the game with this triple, and that hasn't changed with the new iteration as well. If anything, it has gotten even speedier and more mental than ever. In comparison to the old bike's 1050cc engine, the new Speed has a bigger 1160cc heart. It develops 177.5 bhp at 10,750 rpm and 125 Nm of torque at 9,000 rpm. This marks an improvement of 30 bhp and 8 Nm. There is no denying that this engine is a nuke. The throttle response is superb and the performance is mind-blowing. Like you would expect on a Triumph, the fueling is crisp and it picks up in a progressive manner. From 2000 rpm to 4000 rpm, the engine response is subdued. And that's the beauty of these triple engines. They're never wild or choppy like V-twins or dead like an inline-4 at low revs. Having said that, don't be fooled into believing that this motor is all smooth and tame. Once the engine revs past the 4000 rpm mark, it turns into an absolute beast. It won't throw any ugly surprises, but there's a wild and naughty side to this motor. It underplays its brutality in the beginning, but then it suddenly overwhelms you. It's a mad engine and feels supremely refined and responsive all the way up to its 11,500 rpm redline. The exhaust makes sweet noises too, and on the overrun, you'll catch it playing pops and bangs.
Now all is good with this Speed Triple RS. It comes packed with features, but there are a couple of missing bits. Like for instance, the clutch is not an hydraulic unit, which I think is a bit of a miss on a motorcycle which is this big and this powerful. Well, in terms of clutch operation, it's quite light. You don't really feel it, but I don't really like it. You can't really figure out the biting point of the clutch, and when you're riding it in traffic, that's a big problem because this bike overheats a lot, and the other thing is it tends to stall a lot as well. So that is my main grudge, because below 2000 rpm you can't really feel the clutch. It's really very distracting. In fact, when I was taking U-turns for the shoot, I also managed to drop this bike because while taking a turn it just stalled, and that happened probably 10 times, but one time I dropped the bike because I lost control. So that is something that you'll notice when you ride this motorcycle on a day-to-day basis.
I found the cable clutch wasn't up to the job. I could immediately feel there was some slack after riding it for a day and the clutch wasn't disengaging properly. We tried to adjust the tension in the cable, but to no avail. The result of that was a lurchy and jittery ride at low speeds. On the upside, the 6-speed transmission, fitted with the quick shifter as standard, is a work of art. It's smooth, precise and fuss-free. The only trouble is, on public roads, the quick shifter is of hardly any use. You'd run out of space within the first 2 gears. In fact, you'll find yourself doing triple-digit speeds in just first gear. And you'll always find yourself getting too close to the billion variables we have on our roads. The Stylma calipers paired with Brembo MCS brake lever offer phenomenal stopping force. I'm willing to bet that this braking setup is easily one of the best on any bike in the world right now. Even though the speed comes with fully adjustable Hooligan suspension, the ride is inherently firm. Over bad or wavy roads, the ride is unsettled and choppy. We tried a couple of different compression and rebound settings, but it wasn't of much help. As a road bike then, the Speed Triple could certainly do better, especially considering the old Speed Triple's plush ride quality.
Now another big miss on this motorcycle is electronic suspension. Triumph has loaded it with top shelf parts, but I don't understand why would they miss on electronic suspension, that adjustability that comes, because this is a street motorcycle, it's not a race bike. But I think that is a miss because rivals like the V4 Street Fighter, they get electronic suspension. Of course they're more expensive, but that should have been there at least as an optional extra, if not standard.
The stiff suspension does have its benefits though. The handling is simply epic. Show it your favorite road and see the Street Triple RS come alive, and how. Gone is the top heaviness of the old Speed. You no longer have to wrestle the bike around corners. In all honesty, it actually feels as agile and quick turning as the Street Triple RS. But thanks to its longer wheelbase, the Speed doesn't feel twitchy or skittish in quick directional changes like its younger sibling. The front end is dripping with feel and you can carry so much speed and confidence through corners. On track days, with able hands behind the bars, the Speed Triple RS can give some established superbikes a run for their money. It's lethal and track ready from the word go. The electronics package includes 5 riding modes, lean sensitive traction control, cornering ABS, and all of these work really well in the background. I felt these to be less intrusive than how they feel in the Street Triple RS. But I don't really like the new display. It has a nice layout, but it's laggy and doesn't also feel as sophisticated or crisp as the Street Triple RS's display. Plus, it kept on showing a TPMS error despite the fact that the bike wasn't equipped with the system. There's a full keyless system on offer too, which feels premium and it's a nice addition too.
The Speed Triple RS then, how do we sum it up? Well, to be honest, it's not short on thrills, it's not short on performance, it's not short on kit either. But I still think this is a bit too much, because on our road conditions, forget anything, even the Street Triple RS is a bit too much if you ask me. But what Triumph has done here, well, they have thrown everything but the kitchen sink at this motorcycle, because this is a fully tuned up race motorcycle that is being sent for road duties. Well, just look at it, it just screams performance. Now, this is a far cry from the old Speed Triple, which I rode it today, and it felt like a very comfy motorcycle to ride. It felt like a big park cruiser sort of a thing because it was really comfy and all that. But this, of course, the ergonomics are comfy, the seat is also quite comfy, but the suspension is too stiff. Of course, it has adjustable suspension, but even then, we tried everything. It is a little too stiff for our road conditions. So this is actually a stripped down superbike. And that's not a bad thing, because if you want a Triumph superbike, well, you don't have anything on the market. So what you are going to get is this one only. But on the road, like I said, it's a bit too much. It hates going at low speeds. The clutch is really finicky. The engine starts clattering around 2000 RPM. And beyond first or second gear, well, you can't really ride this motorcycle. So in that sense, it's just too much power for the road. But if you're looking for a track motorcycle that can just fly under the radar, if you want a naked motorcycle that can be ridden for weekend rides, but your main job is to hit the racetrack, well, I think this is what you should buy, because it comes at a really compelling price. If you compare it with other full-blown leader class bikes, well, they are quite expensive. Even its direct competitor, the V4 or the ZH2, well, they are also quite expensive. So at this price point is a race bike without the fairing.